Adrian N. Breitfelder, City Clerk, you are hereby directed to call a special session of the City Council to be held on Monday, February 3rd, 2025 at 6 p.m. in the historic Federal Building for the purpose of conducting a work session on Travel Dubuque's annual update.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to a special session of the Dubuque City Council for February 3rd, 2025. As a reminder to viewers and listeners, due to the nature of tonight's meeting topic, public input is not accepted. However, you may contact the City Council directly from the city's webpage at www.cityofdubuque.org/council contacts. Attendance for the session is as follows. Mayor Kavanaugh.
Here.
Council members Farber.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Resnick.
Here.
Roussel.
Here.
Sprank.
Here.
Wethel.
Here.
City Manager Van Milligan.
Here.
And City Attorney Brumwell.
Here.
Thank you. Our work session topic is Travel Dubuque's annual update. I will turn it over to Travel Dubuque President and CEO Keith Ray.
Hi, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, City staff. It's an honor to be here this evening. My name is Keith Ray. I'm President and CEO of Travel Dubuque. And I was just counting back when I was sitting here. This is my 17th presentation to the council, so I take great pride in that. It's a pleasure to be here this evening to go through where Travel Dubuque is to date in regards to our efforts for marketing Dubuque and Dubuque County as a destination for a variety of different demographics throughout the entire United States and the world. This is a beautiful picture. You see it's taken in the mines of Spain, and I'll start off today with my staff. And as you all know, I've got an amazing staff. A lot of these individuals have been with me for a long time. A very dedicated group that works on a daily basis to market and to sell Dubuque, and once again, our entire region as one of the unique spots to come to and visit. What is happening and what we are excited about. Taylor Kellogg is our Vice President of Marketing. Her and Willie, they do an amazing job with our marketing efforts, really working with a lot of our partners throughout the area and in Illinois and Wisconsin to really showcase what we have. And a good way when you look at with this is it's really unique for myself, like I mentioned, being part of the organization, how we have really evolved and such, and where now we spend a significant amount of time and energy, not so much from a money standpoint, but on the social media and how much that affects us and allows us to really showcase. And where we do is we work with other individuals, people that we work with to come in, and they do various different types of marketing on their part and really helps us showcase what we have. And this is a good example of that. Then we've got, actually I might have skipped ahead here a little bit. Nope, there we go. One of our biggest things, Taylor does an amazing job with this. You can see our new publication that just came out about 2 weeks ago, and that's our travel guide. And this is what we really utilize to really show what we have here in Dubuque County, and even our neighboring counties. I'll get into that a little bit, what there is to see and do, and what really makes us a unique destination. And you can see the requests each year for this continue to evolve, continue to grow. And a lot of that is because of Taylor and Willie started the Adventure Guide. We do this in two publications, one in the spring and summer, and one in the fall and winter. And that really goes along with our travel guide and showcases very specific different, if it's a destination or if it's a restaurant or different things for people to see and do in our area. And these have been extremely well received, and you can see that by the number of different guides that have been requested and we send those out, through this, both in the fall, the winter, and in the spring and summer. The content strategy, like I mentioned earlier, this is one of the things that we continue to evolve with. Willie Tiggis does a tremendous job with this. We were thrilled when we were able to bring him on about 3 years ago for us to be able to do a lot of this in-house as we continue to grow and such as a destination. And working with others that come in, they're called influencers, and they really are. Their reach is significant. These guys, Willie and Taylor, do a good job with that, and it really, people love it because it's not us toting, what we have, it's other people, and they do a great job with that, and their following is substantial. Just a content strategy from the leisure side, you can see how it's grown, and that's our goal each year, obviously, is to grow that, to get more of our reach, more of our brand out there to a variety of different people and such, and that continues to grow. And I once again attribute a lot of that to Willie. He's an incredibly talented young man that does a very good job, knows our branding, knows our destination, and working with Taylor, they do a great job with that. Then our Welcome Center, not to be forgotten, on the corner of 3rd and Main, we get a significant amount of people continue to come in there and get just what people want to see and do in the area. Michelle does an amazing job with that. She's very proud of that. You can see the number of visitors that come from all over the country and the world, and they come in, and not only she does a very good job of showing and telling them what there is to see and do, but also we sell a lot of merchandise in there. And that's Taylor and Willie also. They design, if you get a chance, stop in and see some of the new designs that they've got, which we do in-house in that, and then we sell quite a bit there. So for us, that's a nice revenue stream that we've grown over the last 5 years, where before we always sold some merch out of the Welcome Center, but now it's grown each year. Becky is our sales and group tours. I think most of you know Becky Karkik. You could not have a more energetic young lady than her. She does an amazing job with this. I told my board, which some of you are on, that we continue to thrive in the group tour industry. I attribute a lot of that to Becky, her enthusiasm, her ability to go out and really come up with unique itineraries for the group tours that come in and what there is to see and do. And granted, we are blessed here with the river. We are blessed with the National Mississippi River Museum, both of our gaming, and also to the west, the Field of Dreams. All of those continue to thrive with the group tour, element, but Becky does a really good job with that. And then Julie Kronlage is our Vice President of Sales. Julie's been with me for 15 years. I'd always say I think she is the top sales individual in the Midwest and such, and she proves that on a daily basis. You can see just a sampling of some of the meetings that we've got coming up that we're here already and are coming up in 2025, and Julie's efforts to continue to promote, work with our partners, the Grand River Center, the Hotel Julian, the Holiday Inn, the Q Casino, all the other entities that have meeting elements on their properties and such to really showcase what we have. And it's tough. It just is. I mean, it's coming out of COVID, probably the thing that's come back the slowest has been the meeting. We all know the amount of virtual meetings we do now comparable before 2020, but Julie and the rest of the group are seeing that starting to turn around and coming back. And I will say that we're very excited about our partnership with the Grand River Center. They're doing a really good job down there. We're very excited about that. We knew it would take a little bit of time to really switch the momentum, and they're doing that, and we're thrilled with that. The riverboats, as we have talked about over the last few years, how we continue to grow that market. It's another area for us to bring another demographic in and to showcase Dubuque and the tri-state area. 2024 was a little interesting. Beginning of the year, the water was high, and it was difficult for the boats to get in port. By the end of the season, the river was slow, and it was even harder for the boats. So we are very, reliant on that, obviously, but that continues to do well, and we're very excited about 2025 and the amount of stops that we'll have, and we can always never forget, our staples, and that's the Riverboat Twilight, Celebration Bell, and American Lady. They continue to do extremely well and bring people and all kinds of different guests to our area. Noah Westhoff, our sports and events manager. Noah's been with us for over 2 years now. He did intern for us with the 2022 MLB game, and that young man is extremely talented, and we're thrilled to have him. One of the new ones, I'll just point out a couple of these items on the list. We're working with the Grand River Center. That's how it started at the top, the Vet City Volleyball Tournament. Our goal was 90 teams. We're up to 173 teams. That's coming up this weekend. We're now at not only the Grand River Center, but we're at Five Flags, and we're also up at the UW Platteville, just for court space and such. And that's an element I've talked, with my board about, as some of you are on, that youth sports, specifically during the winter, is just a huge driver, and it's something that we continue to grow as a community and such with any indoor facilities would be extremely beneficial for everybody. But that's just a really good example of that. We are thrilled with that, and we want to maintain a long time partnership with this group and hopefully grow that to over 200 teams in the future. A couple of the other ones on here, you can see there's a lot of various different activities. One I will call out that we're heavily involved with is the Tim McGraw at the Field of Dreams movie site concert. That'll be coming up Labor Day weekend. Those tickets are sold out. within a matter of hours. There'll be over 20,000 people coming to the tri-state area, and we're very excited about that and can't wait. It's going to be a lot of work. Keep your fingers crossed. Somebody asked me the other day what our rain plan was. I said, pray really hard. So, because it's an outdoor venue and we have a lot of grass parking, but we're very excited about that and really feel like that's going to be really the event for our season, for our region for this year. That's really going to give us a tremendous amount of national exposure, and we've already seen that just with the amount of tickets, obviously, but the amount of press and that the event has gotten so far. And then we roll right into the Field of Dreams. As you know, we're going on our third year of managing the movie site and all aspects with that. John Sutter is the Vice President of Field of Dreams and Operations. John and I work very closely, obviously, with all elements of this. One of the big things that we've seen significant growth in since we've been able to manage the site is the Field of Dreams youth tournaments. This previous year in 2024, we had 453 teams from 22 states, 20 states plus 2 provinces in Canada. A significant amount of people coming in during that entire time frame. For 2025, we're already at 485 teams. Our goal was to get to 500 for this year. We're going to literally knock that out of the park, no pun included, and such. And then we started 2 youth girls softball tournaments that are just about sold out already, one in August, one in September. Last year, we initiated a 50 and older tournament for older gentlemen to come in. That's sold out immediately. We didn't even go live with that. It's sold out already and such, so that continues to do extremely well. And for us, obviously the youth tournaments and all different aspects of all that brings in a whole nother element, a whole nother demographic from people from all over the United States, all over the world, really. And that's something that we feel that if we continue that with the movie site and the involvement out there is just going to continue to grow and bring a significant amount of business, not only to obviously our lodging here in Dubuque and the county and such, but all the other activities, all the restaurants, concessions, convenience stores, destinations where people are coming and visiting and such. And thank you to the city of Dubuque and the council with the money and we are building an app for this next season and increasing the awareness with people to see what there is to see and do here in our region. So thank you very much for that. And that's just a partnership that's going to keep on growing. You can see here also, it gives you a little bit, I love this. I always, it really gives you an idea of where teams, my goal, I don't know if this is realistic, but someday I want to stand up here and that whole map is going to be all brown where teams are coming from all over the United States. But just the economic impact numbers, you can see what these youth tournaments do. It's significant. And that's on it. One thing we did do this year, because when you're getting 70-some teams in a weekend, it's pretty hard for staff, and that it really is. And last year we dealt with rain. I think I told you guys 9 out of the 10 weekends. It was interesting. So we've expanded our footprint, a weekend on the front side, a weekend on the back side, just for the youth baseball component. We were wondering how we were going to do with that. We pretty much sold out of those weekends already too. So that's something that you'll continue to see as we grow with that campus out there. That hopefully we'll start to be able to bring kids in earlier and even later, just depending on what the diamonds are like that give us the ability to do that. Our outreach committee is something that we started after COVID. We had our advisory committee, and after the COVID and everybody, we looked at it and said, how can we get the groups, that same group together, but get more exposure for our partners? How can we don't want to just sit in our boardroom over on Main Street. How can we get out and really touch other destinations, restaurants, other partners and such? So staff came up with this idea. You can see we're here at the dugout at the Field of Dreams we had in September, and people love it. We've had the ability to give them unique exposure. We've been to the airport. Todd gave them back behind the scenes look there. The River Museum, we've been there. So this really is a great way for us. We meet quarterly. Everyone is invited, and we typically get a very good turnout, and people coming and just seeing, what's going on with these other, because it's hard when you're in this industry, right? If you're a hotel, a restaurant, a destination, it's hard to get out and see because you're busy. You know, it's hard to get out and see, so it's fun to be able to get and go and see what else is going on within our region. And it's great exposure for either the property or the destination or restaurant, but it's really good to get people there and see, you know, this is what happens at this place. Sister City, I mentioned Becky Karkik is our group tourist. She also oversees this for us. This is our partnership with the city, and this is a great group. There's a committee, very dedicated individuals. Becky and I met, and Sarah met with Marie Ware, and we got some ideas in regards to potentially maybe sprucing up the Sister City Park a little bit, but you know, we'll work with Marie, and then we'll obviously bring it to the council once we get to that point. And I'd mentioned our county partners. Taylor initiated this a couple years ago. It's going extremely well. We were able to do this with the DRA grant support of our partners at ECIA. I feel this is I really love this, to be honest with you, because it gives us our partners in Jones, Delaware, and Jackson County, when we're bringing in all these people, and they've got a spot in our travel guide, and we're doing various other, you know, co-op advertising with us, really showcase who we are and that we're a region. And that these, you know, people have the ability to go to down to Jackson County and go to a park down there, or go to Delaware County and go to something unique there and such. So this is something that we feel that, you know, we really want to see grow and continue as we continue to evolve as a destination for the entire region. So the results and impact reported to date. This is a travel-related expenditures that we get from the state of Iowa. This is always a year behind. We'll get 24s in October, but you can see this. This is really our Bible for my peers across the state. This really shows what we're doing as a region and such, and this is for the entire county. This isn't just for the city of Dubuque, but you can see the significant growth and the amount of money, and our downturn in when we had the COVID pandemic, but how we rebounded with that and continue to see, you know, the growth each year is amazing. And that leads me to the tax records, the hotel motel tax. We've got a number, I think we've got 6 years listed here, but look at where we're at, look at where we were. And, you know, so when I talk about all the different demographics that we're working extremely hard with our partners to bring in here, the youth tournament's a great example of that, you know, but just all the other types of activity that's going on here in Dubuque and Dubuque County. Look at the reflection in that. Mike and I talked about that a few weeks ago. I don't know if we ever thought we'd be over $3 million in total, you know, revenue. Now we're at we're over 3.5. So I said my goal before I retire is 4 million, and I might have to up that a little bit, because I think as we continue to grow as a county and as a community, I think we're going to be able to achieve that. Hopefully we're going to get close to that this year. But you can see the significant growth here over the last, you know, 6 years, and that is, you know, that is partnership across the board. You know, that's partnership with the city, that's partnership with the county, that's partnership with all of our lodging partners, with all the different attractions in Dubuque and Travel Dubuque. You know, it's our partnerships with everyone out in the entire region that makes us a viable destination, and that's something all of us should be very proud of. Our fiscal year 26 budget. Now, I do have to say, our first column, it says actuals through December 31st. That should be 2024. Susan brought that up to my attention. I apologize for that. It's an error. We'll correct that, but it should be December 31st, 2024. So that's our actuals for Travel Dubuque through that time frame, comparable to this fiscal year budget where we're in right now, and the proposed budget for fiscal year 26. The biggest thing where we see here as far as an increase in income would really be the increase in hotel motel tax. A lot of the other line items, you know, we're pretty much keeping, you know, almost, you know, par to course where we've been in the past. Some of those will fluctuate a little bit between now and our fiscal year when we open up July 1st, but there's not a huge difference in regards to the income that we're projecting, just with the actuals that we get from the hotel motel tax. When we look at the expenses, for the most part, these all fall within. We've got a little bit higher in a couple corporate marketing. We're doing a little bit more. Julie's working with our partners. We're going to some more travel shows, some more meetings and that stuff. So we bumped that up a little bit this year, in next fiscal year, I should say, comparable. And then when we look at our group tour marketing, we're down just a little bit. In April, we've got coming up that this fiscal year, we're hosting a big conference at the Hotel Julian in that. It's a group tour component, so we've had to invest a little bit of money, so that's why we're down a little bit for our forecast for next year, but it's nothing significant. When you look at the marketing component, the marketing is where we fluctuate, where if we need to put money in other spots and such like that, but right now we're projecting that we'll be at about $350,000. Taylor does an extremely, I can't say this enough, Taylor does an extremely good job with managing that marketing budget, because that's an element where you can commit a lot of funds, and she does a great job of overseeing that and making sure that we're at or under budget. So that will continue. Awareness development, we're right on where we have forecasted in the past in regards to expenses. And then when we look at salaries and benefits, a little bit of an increase there, just at a 3% component for staff, but and then administrative, we're pretty much where we forecasted this year. And operations and facilities. At the end right now, we're projecting just about a $51,000 in the black. And as of right now for fiscal year 25, we projected that will be about 33,000 in the black. We're going to be above that. We're probably going to be about, my guess, as Sarah and I looked over financials last week, we're probably going to be about $55,000 to $60,000 in the black. So that's my question. That's my presentation. I'd like to thank all of you once again, and I'd open up for any questions that the group
Thanks,
had.
Keith. Well, I'll kick us off. We've got about 8 minutes here, so we'll see how fast we can go. First question is, and I've got two for you, but the first one is about hotels.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit more about the need for hotels in our city and in our region? I think, if I'm not mistaken, there are some conferences that don't come here because we don't have the hotel space for them. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's for the conferences, it's been the big element of what's in the port. They love the proximity of that lodging right available to where they're having a convention. So, we're thrilled with the new facilities going in down into the port, the old grass lot where I ran America's River Festival all those years. I think that's going to be a big game changer for them. I really do. That they'll be able to walk to and from. So that'll be a big, a nice thing. The other thing is where we're running into, obviously, during the summer time frame, we're busy. I mean, Dubuque always has been. Like I said, I've been doing this a long time. Basically, Memorial Day through Labor Day weekend, we're strong. We really are. And what we're seeing now with bringing in all this other activity, there's weekends we've had to shut off months in advance because the hotel rooms aren't there. So we've had to shut down. So any of these new properties that are coming on like that are dramatically going to help, with that. So that'll be significant. We're thrilled, honestly. I can't wait till the new facility down at Chaplain Smith Island comes. I'm working with a group. I can't name them, but you can kind of imagine. They're thrilled with that coming down there when they come back. And so I think that's going to be a very much an added asset for what we've got. So.
Well, thank you for that. You talked about the sports facilities for youth sports and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's becoming a pretty hot topic around here. I mean, for the last few years, you've been talking about it. It's definitely something that we're hearing more and more very frequently. Mm-hmm. Would you say that we have a lot more capacity that we could build in that? I mean, are we topping out? Like, are people going to stop coming here even if we build more stuff? Or are we just, if we build more, are we definitely going to get more traveling youth sports and things like that?
That youth sports market it's pandemic, it's pandemic and recession free. During the pandemic, people traveled. Recession, people spend money. They're taking their kids places and that's not only the mom and dad, that's the grandparents, that's the aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, and such. I think that's one of the things I've always been the most proud of with Dubuque, honestly, is the way the public works with the private. They see a need and they develop it and such. But 25 years I've been involved here, I've seen that time over time, and then the success of that, right? For me, that's one of the next big steps, is some sort of an indoor facility where we would be able to host, a variety of different events there. We're running into issues with the Winter Iowa games. We just hosted them. I've been involved with that. I've been with the Bureau for, 17 years. I've been a big part of the Winter Iowa games, and we're losing business with them because we don't have the space. Pickleball, pickleball is a huge element. They had to move that because we don't have the space, and we're running into that. So to answer your question, Mr. Mayor, Do I feel like if we had an indoor facility here, would it be busy? I think it'd be swamped. Because not only our ability to host and partner with like that vet city, that's just one example, but it's all these teams here in Dubuque in the region, that are travel teams that have to go someplace else and they have to train and do something, like that because it's not here, And so I think in any type of, that youth sports is a market, and it's at a critical time of the year. Because once again, remember, we're a hugely viable destination Memorial Day, actually into October because of with the leaves and such. But at that winter time, we could bring in that other business. It'd be huge for all of our partners.
Well, thanks for that. Thanks for sharing that perspective. Time for probably one more question. If anybody has one. We are silent. You've covered it all. Okay. Keith, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in here for the 17th time, apparently. So we really appreciate it. Thanks for your leadership, and tell your team thank you, too. Well, being no further business in the work session, we'll be adjourned until 6:30.